okay, so now that we have this challenge, what can we do, right? And then there are three main things that we can do, which is first, domain verification. Make sure you verify your domain. So that takes us to the second step, which is aggregated events. Now you can only measure 8 events, right? And in between the domain verification and the aggregated events is where our problem arose, which is we were working with a third party, in this case Teachable, and we could not verify that domain. And that was the major roadblock that we had. And then we can talk about that solution, which I think is like a lot of people facing.
Today, we're going to speak with Jaime from Moonroi. Jaime is helping us doing our advertising, our paid advertising. And what we want to tell you about today is a process we went through with regard to the iOS update. And there's a lot of takeoffs from this process we went through, and we thought it would be beneficial for our audience to listen and understand better the process we went through. So hi, Jaime.
How are you doing, Ram? Nice to have you here.
Yeah, so it's so great that we can do this and share, because we had so many insights, and it's been a stressful kind of process for a week or two, and we started getting those stressful messages from Facebook. Things are going to get bad because of Apple, right? So you get that all over your interface, and we're starting like. And Jaime was kind enough to send me and said, look, this is going to happen and things are going to look rough. So you got me a head start. And then we got into that when things really started to happen. So Jaime, can you a little bit tell us about the iOS update and what it means for advertisers and small businesses and big businesses too? What does that mean? Or why is it so important and how it impacts everybody?
Sure. So pretty much earlier, I mean, at the end of last year, earlier this year already, Facebook and Apple were announcing that with the new iOS 14 update, Facebook was going to ask users for their permission for people to track their behavior on third parties such as Facebook, right? And this is a huge impact for Facebook advertisers just like us and Red ID, because we would be like limited to be tracking the behavior of the user on the platform, on Facebook, right? So what used to be very easy through the Facebook Pixel, and now it's starting to be a little bit more challenging because of lacks of permissions. And all of this is especially important in Europe because they're going very hard with personal information, personal data protection, and so on, right? So we already heard about this. It was very vague on content, but what we had to understand, the big picture was from now on, the Facebook Pixel slowly was going to be limited in terms of tracking, and we will need to find different ways of tracking the behavior of Facebook users when advertising. This has a huge impact because there are metrics as return on ad spend, click-through rates, visits to sales page, checkouts that now need to be tracked in a different way. So that's what we heard last year already. And earlier this year, especially at the end of January, February, is where we start seeing all these messages, which we're about to enter in detail now.
Yeah, and I just heard today that Google is going with that direction too. So this is something we're gonna really see in the coming months. Pushing privacy further and making it more difficult for advertisers to actually tap into their audience. And that will have significant impact. So this is exactly why I wanted to share this, because we will be responding to that. And that's not a new thing, because once in sometimes, like the big platform, they just slap their tail and they just wag you with them. And whatever you knew is no longer exist, and they change their algo, and you need to figure out what's happening. And for me, what's so important is, as a young advertiser, because I'm not so long in this domain, is that I need to have internal processes and some kind of trust with my partners going further, and how to respond to these kind of changes. on a global scale. So we'll show you, and that's why I wanted to do this. And we'll show you how we handled it and our takeoff, not only for what you need to do, because this is like, you certainly, I hope people will just be able to track their advertising better now after seeing this, but also down the line, how do you respond like that? How do you get organized before you get the slap? And you will, we will. That's like a given thing.
Yes, and I think like one of the main things is like don't panic. And I remember I talked with you, and you were like, "Hi man, so many errors. Like, what's going on, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is like this is new. Like we're all in this new thing, and like I have seen people like panic so much that they start making like wrong mistakes after wrong mistakes because trying to be ahead of the curve. So I would say first things first, don't panic. Like we're all in the same boat. We're going to fix it. And we did it. It took us 2 weeks, and we're going to show you how to do it. But don't panic. Like it's part of it. Things are going to change down the line. Just like embrace it and learn new ways how to fix it and adapt to change. You know, we just like everyone, the whole world adapt to the new COVID situation. And like the same way it happened worldwide, it happened marketing wise, it would just continue happening, right? This is not the ultimate change, I think. So don't panic, find for solutions, and we're about to show you a great solution here.
So one thing, first of all, don't panic is easier said than done. But and you know, it's like you see that there are like zero leads coming in where we were used to getting everyday leads, or the cost of lead just tripled. And
Yeah.
easier said than done. But actually, what was helping is first we knew this is coming because Facebook warned us and scared us, but also because I got a message in our Slack channel from Jaime. Look, things are going to change. So if you're an external provider and you can say like, "Oh, Ram, I told you this was happening. We are getting organized," and even that we got from you like this package of I couldn't, you know, it's a lot of technical and there's a lot of text to read, and you said, "Look, this is coming ahead. Read this. I'm gonna take care of it, but just be aware this is going to happen." So when it happened, I was like, "Jaime, I think it's happening, right?" And you said, "Yeah, it's happening." So when you're an external provider, and I know that as I'm also giving service, is manage your your client's anxiety, right? Prepare them to feel anxiety, and then okay, it's happening. We're on top of it. We'll handle it. So that was part really went well for me. And although we were like, you were very responsive, and we were writing, I think it was 12, like
Yeah,
12 o'clock at night.
midnight exchanging.
Yeah, and what's going on? No leads. What's going on, Jaime? Is everything okay? And yeah, let's move forward. So what can we do? We don't get leads. We don't get any traction, tracking in Facebook. We see all these errors.
Yes. So new things appear. So probably in your ads manager, talking specifically about Facebook ads, you might see next to your campaigns tab an area called Resource Center. So that's something that all of a sudden appeared and start to give you indications what to do, right? So the Resource Center, if you haven't checked that out, go there and make sure you have completed each and every single step. There are 3 main steps you need to complete. So the first one is verify your domain. That's like number 1 thing. If you don't verify your domain, you will start losing traction of your leads and every single event that it's happening, right? So domain verification is the step.
Jaime, can you show us, like show just?
Yes. So let me actually go into it. Here we're in the Red ID Facebook ads. And how you verify your domain, where do you find that? You need to go to your settings, business settings. Under brand safety, you need to go under domains. Once you're under domains, you need to go to your main domain, in this case, Red ID. And in this case, it's already verified. But here you will see there are 2 ways of connecting it. It will give you either a meta tag or a DNS verification, right? They will give you the steps there. I'm going to get too technical. This is done already for Red ID, but make sure you go to brand safety domains and your domains are verified. That's extremely, extremely important for making sure this is well done and prepared, right? About the
And just one word for our non-technical. So some of this conversation will be technical because we want to help you figure out. And this is like Facebook is really, really difficult for somebody who's not daily on it. But I think also for people daily on this, the ad platform and the management is really difficult, and it's changing every day. So we just want to help just getting there. But frankly, if I didn't have you, I think I would freak out. Just finding out that there is this issue of domain. So yeah, it took me a while, but sometimes you just need help. Just
Yeah. Yes. So again, guys, like go to your business settings, brand safety, domains. There are going to be 3 steps or 4 steps. If you don't know like how to deal with it, go to YouTube and see how to verify my domain on Facebook, and you will find there the steps, right? So that's like number 1 thing, like to face this issue, verify your domain. Then next thing, this is what I was mentioning. Sorry, let me put this here. So next to our campaigns, like the ads manager used to be until campaigns, ad sets, and whatnot. Now we have a new area, which is called Resource Center. And this appeared with the new update and everything we're facing. So if you see in Domain Center, there are 3 things that you need to have them ticked as green. Verify your domain, which is the main thing that we just covered. And then update your attribution window. And lastly, make or review your available conversion events, right? So before we enter into the other 2, why don't we explain a little bit, Ram, of what was the main issue we faced with the domain verification?
yeah. So we have this funnel, and like in many cases, if you don't like just even if you own a shop, so any funnel would spread across different platform you use. So you may use like a landing page system like Lead Pages, ClickFunnels. We use WordPress, use Elementor, and then you want to send your traffic into like your content. So in our case, we have this page with a case study, and we get an email, and then we send them send emails to our users, and then from that email, they're encouraged to go to our course page, which is the main thing we're now selling online. And we have the Design Sprint course, which you should check. Our Design Sprint Unleashed course, which is great. And the course sits on Teachable, which is another platform. So already I spoke about MailChimp, I spoke about Elementor, and now we have Teachable. And each one of these are in a different domain. And we used to be on Teachable using their domain. So it was redid.teachable.com. And with the new update, that's a big issue. So back to you. Here you go. So our main domain is here. You can see wp.redid.com. That's the main domain. It's ours. So I own red-id.com. That's our main domain. And here we go to teachable.com, and we can't. And with the new thing, we used to have a code there, and Teachable supplies like a Facebook pixel interface. But now with the new tracking was not getting there. And Jaime, do you want to explain why is it so important that we track these?
Yeah, sure. So putting it simple, this is the issue. Like you have your domain, right? RedID or moonroimyagency.com or whatever. And you can verify that because it's your domain. But then you start working with third parties, especially if you sell info products. This is especially important for info product sellers. Then you might be on Teachable, Thinkific, Kajabi, or whatnot. And you cannot verify Teachable. You cannot verify Kajabi. It's not your domain. Like these guys won't allow you to verify their domain. So what to do there? This was the big elephant in the room. And I was talking with so many marketers, and everyone was like, you know what? We create like a different, like we create a product on a checkout page and then connect it with Zapier and then send it to us. Like, I'm not going to go too much into detail, but they were taking like 10 steps. And that was my first proposal to RedID. I was like, guys, we would need to like move to create a product, literally like a product as an e-commerce, and then send that to Teachable, because we cannot verify Teachable, right? And that was a big problem we were facing. But then Ram came and said, no, I don't like this approach. I'm going to find my own approach. And it worked incredible. Like, not even the biggest marketer I have heard this approach make it work, but we did it. Like, after back and forth overnight, we make this happen. And what we did, as you can see here, is that we create a subdomain, right? So it's still redid.teachable.com. And this allowed us, by creating this subdomain, to verify it. As you can see, this is like, it's green, so it's status verified. This allowed us to verify a Teachable domain by adding a subdomain. Okay, so if you are using Teachable or you're using Thinkific and you're running into this problem where you don't want to get too technical with Zapier and all the things, we want to let you know you can create a subdomain that will be verified. You can do that. That's a different approach, and it's possible to do it. And why is it so important? Because pretty much, if you don't track Teachable, if you don't have Teachable or other platform verified, you cannot track your checkouts, and you cannot track your purchases. So you're missing the two most important parts of the funnel in this part, right? And just to explain you a little bit of our funnel here, I'm going to Google Analytics funnel. And so pretty much, like, these are like people who will generate this traffic. They will convert into leads. They will come to the sales page, right? And then they will go to the checkout, and ultimately they will go to the thank you page after purchasing. And we were missing the two last steps of the funnel. And it was so frustrating to see leads coming in, they're going down, and then track disappear. And that was the main wall we were going against.
And remember that all platforms are optimizing based on this data. So we want to tell Facebook if their advertising works, so they can be better targeting our audience. And if we're not reporting back to Facebook, then our advertising is much less efficient, and we keep on learning phase. So that's super crucial for us. So what we did, and I'm going to show it, that what the actual hack was, so we had a two-phase hack. So the first one was to create a domain on Teachable. So you're able to set up for your school a domain, and you use your own domain. So we used teachable.redid.com. I'm going to show how this works. And that's a pretty easy step. Okay, so I'm going to courses. Yep. Site. Okay, and I went to domains. And here you can set your primary domain, which was previously this one. And I set it to teachable.redid.com. Okay, and if you remember what Jaime showed, we own redid.com. So verifying redid.com is anything that looks like this, starting with anything, but .redid.com is ours, and we can verify it. So I added this to Teachable, and I was able to verify it using an HTML tag, whatever. I can control it, or through the DNS verification. So you can do this with Teachable, redid.com. So, and once you make it primary domain in Teachable, when you're purchasing, then there's two steps. The first one is the checkout page, which still stays on Teachable. It's not even redid, it's sso.teachable.com. So you don't have control over there, and still no tracking. And I'll get back to that, because that's the second part of the hack. But the thank you page is, you can edit from here, where you go to pages within the course, and you can define and fine tune the thank you page after purchase. So this is actually something I can edit. And here I placed a custom HTML tag place, where I put a script for purchase from Facebook. So now this sorted up the thank you, which is the final event we have on Facebook for purchase. And that's the first part. But we still wanted to know when people initiate checkout so we can optimize all the drop traffic when going into checkout and not completing the purchase, and we want to target those users and talk to them and maybe convince them to buy. So the second part is
just one thing here, like this code, it's you can find it within Facebook. It's not that we invented it or nothing. So it might look like a little bit scary, like what is this code thing, and like where do I get this and whatnot. If you go to events on Facebook and you go to purchase event and then you go to open, I think it's code information, and they will give you this code. So you copy paste it. We didn't create it from scratch. There was no developer behind it. Facebook offers you this, right? So it's a copy paste thing.
Yeah. And basically in Teachable, you can give them your Facebook pixel and they put it on every page. So you got to have a Facebook pixel included for this to work. Okay, so there's an include there, but it's built in Teachable. Most platforms to give you that opportunity, or you need to just create some kind of snippet and, to add your pixel with script. So that's also easy. And the second phase is that here's our landing page in Elementor, okay, and here's our purchase form, which is just a simple button. And in that button, I can actually give an ID. You see that, the enroll form for the form that is in this. And now this is a little JavaScript. It's a little technical, but what I did is I placed an HTML, here it is, an HTML element here again, and I already have the pixel on my page, and I hacked addressing the click on the enroll button, and I will put in the comments all this script so you'd be easier understanding them, and links to where we took these. So it's all available online, open source stuff. And so here I'm just addressing that click button and telling all those enrollment button that if somebody clicks on them, just tell Facebook that we initiated checkout. So actually, we're not reporting on the actual checkout page, but we're reporting on the intent to do checkout, which is as good. And still, the idea behind it is that you want Facebook to understand what's going on in your funnel. You want to tell them, because then they can help you. And this is true for any advertising platform. Okay, so I'm going to stop my sharing. So I just wanted to point out the process, okay? So Jaime was working hard on fixing that, and there was a lot of technical shit going on, pardon me. But, and then he was telling me, look, Ram, you need to install a shop on your Elementor, and you need to do this and that. And then we had, because he was researching and it sent me like all these videos. Hey, Ram, this is what you need to do. It was very organized. I was looking at that and said, well, this is too much work for me. And I didn't want to go into, because for us, Teachable solves a big problem of, for example, selling globally. And there's tax issues and a lot of and invoicing. So if I sell my own courses and then open an account, there's a lot of hassle for me. And then I need to send invoice for every person that purchased that. Something Teachable takes care of me if the purchase takes place on their platform. So I didn't want to go there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to hack this myself. I'm going to work. But what was nice about this is I think it's a two-way street. First of all, I was in the mind that I trust Jaime completely, because we have a long track together. And if you work with an external constructor, and Jaime, you probably can tell, like, if there's not like a basic trust, you should just leave them. Okay, if you don't trust your partner, you're doing bad service, because once there's a trust issue, nothing would work well, and there's no way So you can try, and you know what? There, I've been an external consultant so long. I've been a consultant so long, and we all fuck up. You know, sometimes in our relationship we make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, that happens,
Yeah.
and and you just need to assume your partners will make a mistake, but you need to think of, yeah, I can make these mistakes, and I do that. You know, I do that. I
Yeah.
make mistakes. So my partners are bound to make mistakes because we're doing stuff. If they're not making any mistakes, they're probably not doing anything.
Yeah. And I agree. Like also in this trust pillar, like problems are gonna come, like for sure. You know, like whoever like service providers say everything, it's like rainbow life. It's not true. It's not real. You know, like especially in our area, like where gets very technical, very changing. It changed very fast. Like with our clients, we always have a long-term relationship. Like we work at minimum 3 months, like but we extend. We're gonna make like almost a year this year with Red ID working has been like a long track. And like you build this trust and with other clients, and I think communication is key, right? So you become part of the team, you work hand in hand, and once like once things happen, as a service provider myself, what I can tell you guys, if you're offering a service, like first of all, communication is it's clear, and second of all, let them know like that if there's going to be a problem, you're going to be there for them. Like you're going to back up their hands and you're going to go the extra mile. You know, if you need to just do whatever, go on an extra call, be there for them, like people appreciate that. You know, like problems are going to come, and you build that trust by showing up, and also by saying, I made a mistake. I remember like just a month ago, remember we made a mistake, and I was like trying to see like what happened there, and then at the end it was like it was a mistake on our end, you know, and you told me like, yeah, you know, this was like a little bit untrustful, and you told me like we need to build up that trust again, and eventually we build it and we face a new problem, and things continue, right? So there are going to be challenges, but if you are there and you work as a team, which is the most important thing, and you don't avoid responsibility, which I think is where a lot of people come in, we're saying like, I don't know, it's on your end, and like you're trying to put the finger in the other person, and like you don't get anywhere. Like just take responsibility, show up your face, and like work as a team to solve problems, right? At the beginning of this exact process we're showing you, we didn't know what was the solution. We had no clue, you know, like the whole world wasn't like confusing around. Like we saw the best guy in the industry showing a solution in a video, and we found a better solution by working together. So you can create great things when building that trust and working as a team with your client and with your service provider together.
Yeah, and one thing for me that like, you know, when so of course I don't know nothing like you know about paid advertising and everything, but and sometimes, you know, when I was a young designer and clients say to me it's feedback, I may think they're stupid or not right, or let me do my work. But I really liked your approach that, okay, so Ram, he may not know anything about Facebook, but I may listen, and maybe he has a point and I'll be open. And he's not wasting my time because I respect him as my client. And well, happened to be I found, you know, I found this hack, and it's like, okay, we tried, and but it's respecting your client, that they don't accept like your answer. It's not to hurt your professionalism or say that you don't know your shit. It's about we work together, we're partners, and I think that was great of you, because a lot of contractor would say, look, Ram, this is my business, I'll handle it, don't trust me, that's okay. And I do trust you, but I just, you know, I'm taking accountability on, it's my funnel. You know, anyhow.
Yeah.
And another thing I want to tell about, like, just to end this, so maybe I'll give you like a few last words about online advertising and online business as all. It's a long-term game. If anybody will promise you that in 3 months you become a millionaire, you will hack your funnel and everything, that's not going to happen. Okay. Well, it didn't happen to me, and maybe somebody will tell you it happens, but it's a long journey, and you need to have good partners on the way. So you need to build that. So
Yeah.
that's my take.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Like this is not like one shot thing. And also from a product side, like we're working on the product with your team as well. And you know, you need to develop the product, you need to find a market fit. It's not just advertising. Advertising is one part. And that's also when teamwork comes, right? Because I give feedback to Red ID team, they give feedback to myself, and we also enter into the product side, because one thing is advertising the product, but you need to have a great product in order to that advertising to work and sell. Because if the product is not finding any fit, you can have the best advertiser, but you're not going anywhere. So there needs to be a conjunction between, you know, marketing, sales, and product, and you need to work as a whole and have this holistic approach and understand, you know, is this the right product, or should we be interviewing our clients, or should we be getting more feedback in order to your advertising efforts to be better. So when you're working with an online business, especially selling info products, you need to have this holistic approach. It's not like e-commerce, you have a nice picture, nice t-shirt, got sold. You know, here it's a different game. And I think a lot of people got confused there. And just to clarify that. So yeah, I 100% agree on that.
Okay, Jaime, where people can find you on the web?
Sure. So if you want to connect with me, just go to moonroi.com. And yeah, if you are selling info products, or you have an e-commerce or online business, you can schedule a call with our team. We will jump on a call with you, no compromise, and let you know straight on we can help you or we can't help you. And yeah,
And tell them Ram sent you.
tell them you saw this video and you contact us because you saw this video.
Exactly. Highly recommended. Jaime, I want to thank you for your time and your help and ongoing support. It was great talking to you, and I'll see you next week. In any case.
Awesome.
Bye, dude.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.